Wah, the sad bear. Once, deep in the heart of a dense and magical forest, there lived a little bear named Balu. Balu was full of joy. With soft brown fur and bright, curious eyes, he played with his siblings, chased butterflies, and slept snugly under the protective arms of his parents. Life was peaceful and full of love. But one fateful day, everything changed. A terrible storm swept through the forest. With winds so fierce they uprooted trees and flooded rivers, Balu's family was caught in the chaos. As the storm raged on, Balu lost his family, his parents and siblings taken by the unforgiving force of nature. When the storm passed, Balu was left all alone. The once vibrant forest felt cold and empty. His home, once filled with laughter, was now silent. The loss weighed heavily on his little heart, and his days became long and lonely. He wandered through the forest, his eyes searching for the family he could never find. Balu's heart was broken and sadness wrapped around him, like a dark cloud. But despite his grief, there was something special about Balu. Deep down, he couldn't bear the thought of any other creature feeling the same sadness he did. Though his own heart was heavy, he began to notice the other animals in the forest, creatures who also faced struggles, big and small. One day, Balu came across a bird with a broken wing. Without hesitation, he gently nursed the bird back to health, staying with it through the long nights. Another time, he found a young deer separated from its mother. Balu guided the frightened deer back to its family, his slow steps filled with quiet determination. The animals of the forest soon came to know Balu not as the sad bear, but as the bear who was always there to help. Year after year, Balu lived alone, never finding his lost family, but constantly giving what little he had to others. He helped build nests, found food for the hungry, and provided comfort to those in need. The animals marveled at his kindness, wondering how someone who had lost so much could still give so freely. Though Balu continued to carry his sadness, he found a quiet sense of purpose in helping others. But as the years passed, his body began to grow old and tired. He had given all he could, but the weight of his years and the burden of his loneliness began to take its toll. One winter evening, after helping a family of rabbits find shelter from the cold, Balu felt his strength begin to fade. The forest, now blanketed in snow, was peaceful and still. Balu walked to a large oak tree, the place where his family had once played together long ago. He lay down, his body weak but his heart full of warmth from all the lives he had touched. As he closed his eyes, Balu's final thoughts were not of his own loneliness, but of the animals he had helped, the lives he had made better. In his last moments, he realized that even though his family was gone, he had created a new family in the forest, one built on love and kindness. The next morning, when the animals of the forest discovered that Balu was gone, they gathered under the oak tree. Though they mourned his passing, they also celebrated the bear who had given so much without ever asking for anything in return. They spoke of the times he had healed their wounds, guided them home, or simply sat beside them when they were scared. Balu's story spread through the forest, and soon every creature from the smallest insect to the largest deer knew of the bear who had given all he had to others. Balu had spent his life in sadness, but through his kindness, he had become a symbol of selflessness and generosity. Even in death, Balu's spirit lived on. The animals of the forest began to help one another more, inspired by the bear who had taught them that true happiness comes not from what we have, but from what we give. The forest, once a place of struggle and survival, became a community of compassion and care. Balu had never found his family again, but he had created something even more powerful, a legacy of love that would live on forever. His life had been filled with sadness, but in the end, he showed the world that even a broken heart can give the greatest gift of all. And so, the sad bear became a symbol of giving, teaching the forest that no matter how lonely or lost we may feel, we can always bring light to others.